Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of year. The NHL season is right around the corner. We are here in studio to break it all down for you. Steven Zimmermann, along with the pride of Vancouver.
Yeah,
Justin Pooni. First of all, how's your summer, man? And second of all, how fired up are you for the season?
brother, summer is over. It feels like it was just yesterday. I was crying tears of pain watching the Canucks losing 7 to the Oilers. But the puck is dropping in the preseason, and bro, we are so close to the NHL season. I can't wait. Last year, everybody was saying it was probably the greatest NHL season of all time, the greatest playoffs of all time. And I think it's going to be built upon. I think the NHL's in a great place. That whole new Amazon series, all that stuff. I'm fired up for hockey.
Yeah, it feels like we haven't had hockey in forever, man.
We have.
I cannot wait.
And I cannot wait.
I feel like this season could be the best ever.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
A lot of new storylines coming. But okay, I want to get right into this. So I want to get into the Stanley Cup futures.
Okay.
And number one, we have Edmonton Oilers plus 700. A little bit chalky there. I usually
it's big surprise. They're number one. Big surprise. They're number one.
Again, a little bit chalky. I usually like going at least plus 1,000 if I'm betting a champion, but I do really like the moves they made this offseason. They brought in Victor Arvidsson. This guy gets 25 plus goals when healthy per season. They bring in Jeff Skinner. He 1,000 plus games, but never been to the playoffs. You think he's hungry to get in there. And then, of course, they sign Leon Draisaitl. Biggest contract in NHL history.
Yeah, for now,
14 sheets per season, so they don't have to worry about that. Look, man, they're coming off Game 7 in the Cup final. Definitely hungry to get back there. In my opinion, like this on paper, this four group is the best in the NHL right now. Like I like them in Vancouver to kind of cruise to the Pacific Division.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the Oilers and how they're structured, they got McDavid, they got Draisaitl, 2 of the 3 best players in the NHL, right? I like the addition of Jeff Skinner. I love the addition of Victor Arvidsson. A guy who knows them very well from his time in LA, a guy who's played well in the playoffs. To me, though, it's can that defense core hold up? Can a guy like Darnell Nurse, he's never going to equate to being a $9.25 million player.
No, sir.
But can he be a $6 to $7 million defenseman? That's a big question. Ekholm is always going to be that stability guy. We know what Evan Bouchard is going to bring. It's now as clear as day that Stuart Skinner is going to be the number one goalie there. And again, Chris Knobloch, a full year now, a full training camp with him. And you saw the change that this team made last year, going from that team that had to win games 5-4, 6-5 in the playoffs. Remember that crazy game a couple years ago against Calgary where they won they lost 9-8 or whatever it was to a team that had a lot more structure. So, yes, the Oilers deserve to be the favorites. I think they have the best player in hockey. They have the third best player in hockey in Leon Draisaitl, in my opinion. They know what it takes to get there now. Do I expect it to be a little bit of a hangover? I do. I think with teams that went that far and had such a short offseason, you kind of just expect to get back, but they gotta put their foot on the gas pedal here because you have a finite period of time now with Draisaitl locked up and McDavid's contract about to kick in where you can make some moves. And look, Evander Kane is on LTIR right now, so that freed up a little bit of space. Can Stan Bowman and this new management group make some moves to improve the team? I do expect that. But yeah, the Oilers, they're well positioned to make a deep run once again, I think, come this off season.
And yeah, man,
come this season.
Right. You cannot afford to mess around in a window though. Like they have a few years. McDavid, is it 2 years until he's
got this year? He's got this year and then next year.
Right.
But the thing about it like this, right? You have to think that McDavid's gonna re-sign after what Draisaitl did, right?
Yeah.
They were at each other's. Draisaitl was at McDavid's wedding. They hang out in the summer. They train together. They're talking, right?
Yep.
And with the Oilers, look, you have the opportunity to do what Pittsburgh did a couple years ago, almost 10 years ago. Now we're coming up to where they lost in the finals and they went back and they won. Can the Oilers do that? They did that with the Gretzky years when they lost to the. We don't remember we weren't alive then, but
I remember it though.
Yeah, you do. You're a historian of the game like we are. Like we know what we're talking about. It's so hard to get back, and we never know, especially with injuries.
Yeah.
But if this team is healthy, we know what we're going to get from McDavid and Draisaitl. I think McDavid's going to go for 70 this year. I think just, you saw how close Matthews got. I think McDavid has that type of mentality where, you know what, okay, you got 69, watch, I'm going to get 70 plus.
It's like whenever he wants to score goals, he can't.
Exactly.
It's a good year off.
We know him, exactly. We know when McDavid got up to that slow start.
Yeah.
Where was he at the end of the year? Near the top.
And you called it, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that just proves how resilient the Oilers are, right? They got off to that. It was like a 2-9-1 start.
Exactly. The worst team. And then also
turned
called lightly, and then they rolled all the way to the final. So look, the Oilers deserve to be number one in terms of favorites on the odds on NEO.bet. So I think, look, let's see, but you know what you're going to get from them now. The expectations on the pressure remain on them until they win, right? The spotlight is going to be red hot on them.
Yeah, I feel like we could talk about the Oilers all day, but I have one more point that just, like, when you look at this team, it's like McDavid, Draisaitl. You think this is going to be a dynasty, like you talked about the Penguins winning 3 cups, or even the Blackhawks winning 3 cups as well. Those teams, but it just hasn't panned out yet. They've been in one final so far. It's
still possible though. And look, this NHL is different, man. It's a different NHL than what it was even when the Blackhawks had their dynasty. Right? There's so many good teams. There's so many good players. The playoff format has changed. It's different, right?
Sadly, for Leaf fans.
Yeah, for Leaf fans and for the general hockey fans, but. It's different. It's a different NHL, right? We're not going to see a team go back to back. That's why it was so crazy when Pittsburgh did it, right? Or Chicago winning those 3 cups in 5 years, I think it was. It's a different league. It's a much more competitive league, right? It's a league where anybody can sneak up on anybody any given night, any given season, right? Yeah. So I think the Oilers have the chance to win. I believe that there's still a window. As long as you have 29-97 out there, you're going to have a chance to win every single night and every single year as long as they're healthy.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see what Skinner can do as well next season. But yeah, moving right along. So the team they face in the finals, the Panthers, they are plus 1,000 at NEO.bet to win the Stanley Cup.
Right in your wheelhouse.
Yes, that's right, exactly. Man, I love this team. Like, they're so well coached under Paul Maurice. In the last 2 of the 3 seasons, they have hit the 50-win mark or exceeded that. As I said, they're coming off the Stanley Cup. They've been to back-to-back finals. Tough to do in this era.
Yeah.
They did lose, I mentioned here, Brennan Montour and Oliver Ekman-Larsson on D, and they gained Nate Schmidt at the bottom there. So arguably a little worse on defense, but like you look at that top 6 with Sasha Barkov and Reinhart, Bennett, Tkachuk, it's just elite, man. One of the best. And I would argue that possibly the Atlantic still runs through them. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. Yeah. But then again, look at the Florida Panthers. Look at all of the miles on those bodies, man.
Yeah.
Back-to-back cup runs, right? They've been a team, the last 4 or 5 years that have been a consistent playoff team. You look at this squad, I just feel like, they're going to be a playoff team, but I don't see a deep run. I just don't see guys being able to. They finally did it. They avenged the loss. They did what Edmonton is trying to do. They avenged the loss from the year previous, and now they're trying to win a Stanley Cup. Then they won the Stanley Cup. Now you got to defend it. The hard part is, though, the
hardest part, man.
You got to go through to the whole marathon again. A lot of guys were hurt. A lot of guys were injured. A lot of guys now, let's face it, how hard are you really going to train in the offseason? We saw them. I'm not questioning the work ethic.
No, all these guys, they are partying with the
They are, and it's a shorter off season, right?
Yeah, totally.
So do I think the Panthers will be a contender in the Atlantic? Absolutely. Do I think the Panthers will make it past the second round and maybe into the conference finals? I do not think that. I think the Florida Panthers, they're going to put up a valiant fight, but it's hard, man, in the NHL to go that far. And I look, the loss of Montour, the loss of Ekman-Larsson, who was a revelation, will mean something. Nate Schmidt's a guy that has bounced around. He's in Vancouver, Winnipeg.
Montour is sneaky good, man.
Montour is sneaky. That's the reason he got the bag in Seattle, right? He's a very good defenseman. They're still going to be a really good team. They're still going to be a top team in the East in the regular season, but in the playoffs, it's just going to be such a grind again. And I just want to see them being able to get through that grind one more time. Yeah,
and we saw with the Tampa Bay Lightning, they did win back-to-back cups actually during the COVID years, but then they went to another final. And they just
but it was different. It was different circumstances, right? They had the big gap during the bubble, and then they had the season started later the year after, right? So it's different, right? We're back to traditional, June. This Stanley Cup final ended at the latest period that we've ever seen, right? It was almost the end of the last week of June, the Stanley Cup was awarded, right? That's it's a very short off season, and I think that's going to play a big factor for teams like Edmonton and Florida because it's smaller, smaller time to recover and quicker time to turn around.
Yeah. Okay. Moving right along. Yeah. Different division in the East, though. New Jersey Devils, plus 1,100 to win the Stanley Cup in NEO.bet. They're actually tied with the Dallas Stars, just Pooni. They did miss the playoffs last season and in 5 of the last 6 seasons, but we're really seeing like a change of the guard in this franchise. Like they went through a string of coaches, like you had Travis Green in there amongst others, and now
Lindy Ruff.
Yeah, Lindy Ruff, that's right. Now they're bringing Sheldon Keefe, who, as we know, has a lot of experience with high-end talent, and now he's going to be under Jack Hughes, who I think, like, to me, this guy is like should be in the Hart conversation every year. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he drops 115 points.
Yeah, look, Jack Hughes is leading the charge for American-born players, I think, right behind Matthew. Like, this is the Matthews generation, but Jack Hughes has got that next generation, right?
Yeah.
Well, with the guys like, Connor Bedard and Macklin Celebrini. And,
of the same ilk as those guys.
Yeah, but Jack Hughes is kind of leading that charge of that younger group, right?
Yeah.
I think we're going to see Sheldon Keefe, the real Sheldon Keefe. I don't think we saw Sheldon Keefe with the Leafs. But I think this is the chance for Sheldon Keefe. He's in Jersey. Yeah, they have really good odds, but let's face it, like, not everybody's going to be having their eyes glued to the New Jersey Devils like they do with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's a different ball game, right? So we're going to see Sheldon Keefe really maybe be true to who he is. He doesn't have to deal with egos of the core four, that type of stuff, right? He can really just coach freely. Now, with that being said, there is pressure on this team, right?
Oh, yeah.
They were hurt last year. Their goaltending was a mess. They weren't able to, really put it together. And they floundered last year. Let's face it. That's why Lindy Ruff lost.
This is a team that should be making the playoffs.
They should make the playoffs every single year in playoff runs. After they beat the Rangers the year previous.
That's right.
7 games.
They faced Carolina round 2.
They faced Carolina round 2 at a close series there. Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt, and they got Jacob Markstrom. They shored up the goaltending by getting Jacob Markstrom. Right?
Finally.
So
the goaltending.
The pressure is on there, right? They've made the moves. You gave Dougie Hamilton a whole lot of money in defense, right?
And he's finally coming back.
He's finally back out.
To me, he is a legit number 1 D. Like, that's huge. You got to give.
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, he's a guy who's not going to put up the sexy numbers like the Hughes, the McCarr, the Yossi's, and stuff like that.
Right.
But like you said, he kind of does everything. He's your all-around defensive. He can move the puck. Of course. He can skate. He can log a lot of minutes. Right.
Yep.
He can shut down the opposing team's best players. Right. Can it revitalize Jacob Markstrom, carry the workload for this team? Can those elite forwards, the Bratts, the Heishers, the Hughes, and those guys pick up the slack because they're entering their primes now, right? And let's face it, the Metro, it's kind of ripe for the taking for them, right?
Oh, yeah.
The Rangers are there, right? But there's the Islanders. Pittsburgh's going through some difficult things.
Carolina's always
always good to believe in. Then, too, there's always questions around the Carolina.
Yeah.
They lost some players, too, like Brady Shea.
True.
And they're another year older.
You never know about Freddie Anderson either.
You never know, but
especially
and look,
playoffs, right?
I think we could say in the Metro behind Shesterkin, the Devils might have the best goalie in Jacob Markstrom.
Yeah, I'd
right.
So.
You'd say that in the Eastern Conference, right? Bobrovsky, Shesterkin, Swayman, and then probably Markstrom, right? Like it's theirs for the taking. So when I look at New Jersey, expect a big year from Jack Hughes if he's healthy.
Yeah.
Expect another good year from Nico Hischier. Expect good stuff from that forward group. But it's the goaltending. Can Jacob Markstrom carry the workload? And can Sheldon Keefe get the most out of the young talent they have, like he did in Toronto? Right? Can he make those right adjustments and pull those fine strings? And can this team then make another run at the place? Because they have the talent to do so, Steve.
Absolutely.
There's no question about that. The New Jersey Devils are as talented as anybody in the NHL, but it's the small details. Can they limit the small mistakes they make? And can they be a team that plays smart hockey night in, night out and not take their foot off the gas pedal we see young teams do, right?
It is interesting, though. Like, you look 5-10 years ago, the Metro, it was like Pittsburgh, Washington, it was Ovi Crosby, and then it's like just the rest. Now it's kind of like we talk about. It's like
the guard.
Yeah, it's actually, it's like Rangers, Devils, as we mentioned. And yeah, Jack Hughes last year, he did miss 20 games but still put up 74 points. So his point per game pace is like...
He's one of the most elite players. He's electric. He's electrifying to watch.
Much like his brother.
Yeah. Norris Trophy winner, man. Norris Trophy
that's right. And we will get to that. But just Pooni, it's time to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Hey.
We're skipping a bit, but it's they're the 7th overall favorite.
That'd be wild to me.
To win the Stanley Cup. We're used to seeing them a little higher, plus 1,400. And here we go again, Justin. The core four is back, much to the chagrin of some of the hockey world, but...
mostly Leaf fans.
Yes, some of us. Marner and Tavares both entering contract years, excuse me. But Marner doesn't want to talk about it, not surprisingly. And they do add Craig Berube, which I like a lot. I like a lot of the things he's preached. Like, to me, he's not an X's and O's guy. He's more of like a motivational coach.
Right. Wants
to play north-south. He had a quote this past week where he said, when you play the Leafs, we we never want to get outworked by any other team, and I like a lot of things he discusses there. The Leafs also added Tanev and Ulrich Ekman-Larsson on D. I think Tanev is a guy to me, like he shut down Jack Eichel and Nathan McKinnon in the playoffs last year. I think he could possibly help Morgan Rielly activate more offensively. And then in the goaltending, you have Wall and Stolars. If these guys split it like they're talking about, Justin, like we're talking the longest seasons for both of these guys, so it's gonna be really interesting to see. Did you think they've done enough? I'll ask you that to start.
No. I think the Leafs, their hands were kind of tied behind their back because with the Marner thing, the Marner controlled the whole situation in the offseason. Nobody's gonna touch that Tavares contract.
Right.
It's just the same thing though. They're running back, man. Right? You don't bring back Tyler Bertuzzi, okay, fine. You expect a bigger season from Matthew Nyes, okay. The forward group is the same thing, right?
More or less,
rinse and repeat, right? It's the same thing.
Max Pacioretty?
I guess 2 goals in the preseason. Yeah,
people are fired up, man.
Yeah, look, maybe. But look, it's the defense core, and it's going to be the goaltending. Once again, I know what I'm going to get in the regular season from Matthews and Marner and Yedder. I know what I'm going to get. Can Craig Berube change the way they play? Remember, what happened with Alex Ovechkin? He was first, 6-7 years of his career, lighting the lamp, 60 goals every year, but never won anything.
Always ran into Pittsburgh.
What happened? Barry Trotz comes in, changes the way they play. They have more structure. What happens? The goals take a little bit of a dip. He's still Ovechkin. He's in the league, be near the top of the league leader for goals. Same thing with Matthews, right? But can they change the way they play as a team? Can they change their identity under Craig Berube? And I don't know that yet.
Right.
Because this core four has been so set in their ways. They've been given everything, given every opportunity to succeed. Can they change that narrative, right? And will this Mitch Marner contract become a distraction, right?
Yeah, I wonder. It's a good question.
We've seen the last year with William Nylander. It became a distraction, right? And then he got paid. He ripped it up, went crazy. He got paid, and his play kind of fell off. Picked up later on in the season.
Do you remember in 2019 when Nylander basically held the Leafs hostage for half a year and then at the 11th hour?
Exactly, man.
Horrible year.
And look, I don't know about the Leafs. I think, once again, they're going to be a team that's second, third in the Atlantic, right? Maybe first, right? I don't trust Joseph Wall. I think he's injury prone. He's been proven that.
When he's not injured, he's so good.
The thing is, Stevie, he's always injured, though.
Yeah.
Right? And bringing Stolars.
I like Stolars a lot.
You do. Also. But is he a guy that's going to carry the mail for you?
We got to wait and see.
You look at it. You look at the 2 teams that were in the playoffs last year. Skinner and Bobrovsky carried the mail, right? You look at the elite teams in the NHL. They have that number 1 goalie with a bullet. The Shesterkin,
right? The
Markstroms, the Demkos. When Demko's healthy, same problem. But the Ottingers, the whomevers, right? You need that number 1 guy to carry the mail when it matters the most. I think Morgan Rielly had a horrible year last year. He was downright awful. Points will say otherwise, but if you actually watched every game, watched him play, he was horrible, right? And look, Chris Tanev is exactly what they needed, a right-shot defenseman to stabilize, to put on that first pairing.
I think their D is a little better this year.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. 34-year-old Chris Tanev, can he withstand a full season? He's never played.
And OEL is in his mid-30s.
Right, and OEL.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. That's the question.
Right.
Can they stay healthy? Can Morgan Rielly, another year older, stay healthy, right? Can, whomever on the defense core else stay healthy? That's the questions, right? Do I think the Leafs are going to make it past the second round? No. Do I think they can make it past the first round? Depending on the matchup, I do. But I think Tampa's a lot better. I think Tampa now with the Stamkos stuff is gone and the clarity and the new direction they have, I think we're going to see a very hungry Tampa Bay Lightning team this year, right? Everybody writes off Boston every year, but
they're always there.
Right? So it's going to be, and Buffalo, Montreal, Ottawa, Detroit, they all got to get better eventually.
You got to prove it to me.
But they all got to get better eventually is what I'm saying,
right?
There's
only so many wins up for grabs.
Exactly, right?
To me, the Atlantic's like the toughest division in the NHL, arguably. Mm-hmm. So like some of these teams, like not every team can make the playoffs, obviously.
No, but do I think a team like, I don't know about Ottawa, but like can a team like Detroit finally crack through there? Can a team like Buffalo?
Young talent.
Hey, look, Buffalo was flirting with a playoff spot right there near the end. Same with Detroit. Can they finally take that next step? That's the big question. And I think with the Leafs, you have another year call me in April is what it is, right? Call me in April where they
That's
are.
fair. That's fair.
This year, yeah. Well, how's Craig Berube going to change the way they play, the style of play?
I want to see him bench one of these stars, man. Like if he
I
needs
don't
to,
know, man.
like you got to.
Are you going to bench John Tavares?
Yeah, if you need to, you should. I think like this organization coddles these superstars. Like take as much money as you want, right? And if I look to Shanahan, like this has been a failure the past 10 years. One series win, like any other president, he's out if that happens, man.
No, I agree. Look, and I think the buck has to stop there. Like this has to be the last. Last year, this has to be it. Like
it isn't.
This cannot continue on. Even if they make it to the second round, it has to end.
Yeah. I do think they could win a round or two, but that's, as we'll see later in the show, that's where I'm capping it. It's about, but no, valid points there. Just we're moving to the West Coast.
Hey,
your Vancouver Canucks plus 1750 at NEO.bet.
Wild. The Leafs have better odds than the Canucks. Wild.
Disrespect, I will say.
Simply wild. Simply wild.
Even I'll admit that.
They need to change.
They should be close to the Leafs. I will say, but
okay.
So they're coming off a 109-point season where they finished first in the Pacific. These guys gave the Oilers all they can handle and more with basically a third-string goalie and Shelos, right? Took them to 7 games. It was very close. And much like these other teams, I like their acquisitions this offseason, bringing in Jake DeBrusk and Danton Heinen, both from Boston. They both plug into that top 6. And look, man, I know Jake DeBrusk very well. This guy's a Leaf killer.
Yeah.
You throw him with a guy like Pettersson or JT Miller, like that's a really good lineup. A really solid like where they can roll 4 lines. Yeah. Reigning, Norris, Winter, and Jack Adams are, as we mentioned. My only question mark with this team is, as we discussed earlier, like Thatcher Demko's. It seems like a nagging kind of rare injury. So, so do you think the bookies are disrespecting Vancouver?
I do, but I also understand why they have the Canucks a little bit lower because of the Demko issue, right?
Yeah.
The Canucks need Thatcher Demko. As good as Shelov's was, and they got the guy from Nashville. Forget his name now, but I can't pronounce it.
Oh, is it the backup?
Yeah, the backup.
Lekkinen?
Lankinen, yeah.
Right.
So, they got him, and that was a great look. They've done a lot of tidy business. I love the Daniel Sprong acquisition. They got him cheap, right? He's the guy that could play in the top 6, right? You have that third line. Eventually, hopefully, Dakota Joshua, when he comes back dealing with cancer and all that, he comes back.
All the best to him.
Yeah, all the best to Dakota Joshua. That was one of the best, if not the best, third line in hockey, right? With him.
That guy screams.
Teddy Bluger, Connor Garland, and Dakota Joshua. It's Elias Pettersson, right? He had a rough playoff. This is the guy who's his brother. He's a 100-point player, right? His new contract kicks in $11.5 million. Can he be the difference maker? I know what I'm going to get from JT Miller on a night in, night out basis. He's going to produce offensively. He's also going to go up against he's going to take on the number 1 defensive responsibility. Can a guy with Elias Pettersson, who now gets a Jake DeBrusk, who gets a Daniels, he's not playing with Ilya Mikheyev and Niels Höglander anymore.
Mikheyev to the Blackhawks, by the way.
Yes, that was another tidy piece of business to dump that contract, right?
It was.
The Canucks front office is competent. They know what they're doing. They've managed their cap. They signed Phil Peronic, who took maybe a little bit less, but got a fair market value deal. He's signed. You got Quinn Hughes in the defense core. Tyler Myers is back. This defense core, again, it's big. They play the way Rick Tocchet did. They got Vinny Desharnais from Edmonton as well to be physical. They might need to. I think they need to make one more acquisition on the defense core during the season to bring another puck mover. I think.
Yeah.
This team, look, I don't know if they're going to get 109 points again because now expectations are on them. They have to duplicate what they did last year. You can't sneak up on anybody. But do I expect them to have 100-plus points again? I do. Do I expect them to compete for the Pacific Division? I do. Right? I think this team has a chance to make it to the conference final. I think they have a chance to make it to the Stanley Cup final if they make another acquisition on the defense core and they surefire that and they stay healthy.
Right.
If they can stay healthy and Demko comes back playing well, I believe this team has all the tools capable of going to the finals.
I believe they got Vinny Desharnais, right, in that bottom pair.
Yes, Vinny Desharnais.
Yeah. So, hopefully they do get another bottom pair. But, you look at, like, their power play, too, and with Quinn Hughes quarterbacking, it's kind of similar to Bouchard or Makar. Yeah. Like, the way that guy can walk the line, man.
There's nobody like it. There is nobody like it. And here, what was the problem in the playoffs, Steve, with the Canucks? They weren't shooting the puck enough. And Rick Tocchet, to his credit, what did he say? He needed to change that, right? And I think you're going to see that. You're going to see a Canucks team this year that comes out and wanting to prove a point that, hey, last year wasn't a fluke. Last year was just the beginning of something. And we saw just how exploded the city went when they went on that run, right?
Oh, yeah.
And We need that back again.
A new injection of culture, which is nice to see in that franchise.
And I do expect another big season from Elias Pettersson. I think he's a guy now. He had a rough season. He was dealing with injuries after the All-Star break. He's a guy who, you know what, could pick it up. And he's such a stoic guy. I think he can have a good bounce back.
Dealing with a lot of silly questions from the media too.
Well, that's Canada, brother. That's Canada.
That's these markets, as we know. Okay, I want to switch to a new segment where we're going to get into our final four. So who do you have in the East and West finals? By the way, the Canucks are plus 800 in NEO.bet too.
Yes,
to win the West division, the entire West. I'll let you start though. I'll let you.
Me to start. Okay, so
ready.
In the East, let's go.
It's a tough one, man. It's tight.
Let's go Rangers versus... Let's go Rangers. Let's go... Not Toronto. Not Boston. Not Florida.
Toronto can do it, man.
Let's go Tampa.
Okay, yeah.
Let's go Tampa.
I don't mind that.
Let's go Tampa.
Kind of coming back.
Yeah, Rangers, Tampa. Jake Gensel they got.
They give Hedman the C, by the way.
You give Hedman the C. You still got Braden Point, right?
Cooch is going to do his thing.
Cooch is going to do his thing. Yeah, I love John Cooper as a coach. Let's go Tampa. Rangers, Tampa, East final. And then out West, let's go... I want to go Canucks. But I got to try to figure out how to do the math.
But if they get Demko, it could be... I'm like, that's a big...
So, let's go this. I'm going to assume Thatcher Demko is healthy. I'm going to go Oilers, and I'm going to go Oilers because they're just so surefire. Oilers and Colorado.
Okay, I like that.
I hate Georgiev. I think he stinks. But I think they somehow get to the conference finals where they meet the Oilers so we can see McKinnon and McDavid.
Wouldn't that be something? I would love that series.
Yeah. McKinnon and McDavid.
I still think the Avs might have enough, even with that shaky goaltending. Like this,
I don't know.
Like, are they getting Gabriel Landeskog back? Like, what's happening?
That's true, but then again, if Landeskog comes back, he's been off for what, almost two years?
Yeah, but
just about 2 years. So,
get up the game.
Yeah, let's go Edmonton. Let's go Colorado.
Okay, like that. Do you have a winner out of in the Cup final or final two, perhaps?
I'm gonna go Edmonton, and I'm gonna go New York in the final, and I'm gonna go Oilers win the Stanley Cup.
Wow, nice.
I went with them last year. I'm gonna stick with them this year.
I like that.
But here's the thing: if Thatcher Demko is healthy all season, and if the Canucks make an acquisition on defense, Canucks are gonna go to the Stanley Cup final.
That would be something for Canada, man.
If they make the right moves, they will be in the Stanley Cup final.
Thatcher, get better soon, man.
Yes, please.
And also another Oilers Canucks series in the second round would be.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the Flames stink. They're not going to do anything. No, the Jets suck. Well, they're mediocre.
They're not winning anything.
The Leafs are going to probably be a first round team. Montreal, Ottawa. So
Montreal's D and goaltending isn't good to me. Yeah. They got some exciting forwards.
Yeah, they do.
Laine.
But Patrick Laine, at this age,
I don't mind that though. I don't mind that. I like the Rangers in there too. For me in the East, I have, you're gonna call me crazy, but I have the Hurricanes versus the Leafs
in the East final.
Yeah, in the East final. I think. Let me explain though. So Hurricanes, I mean, they're well coached under Rob Brittamore, but
just a steady, good, solid, great team.
I was looking at their
very good team.
Yeah, they're a team that could just run all four lines like throughout the game. Really well coached under Rob Brittamore. They're always in that second round, and I'm like, one of these years they just got to break through.
Just the Leafs got to break through that first round.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
They got the top two in Slavin and Burns. I think is really good. And for the Leafs, I want to go something that I heard John Cooper say in the offseason. This is one of the longest tenured coaches in NHL. He said that
I think he is the longest tenure now.
Yeah, I think
he must be. Right?
He said that like with the Leafs, it's so damn close in the first round of the Atlantic, and like one of these years they're going to go on a run. We're talking like a bounce, one goal away from going on a deep run. So I do have them losing to the Canes though in these final, but I have them getting there. I'm winning 2 rounds, and then
saving everybody's lives. Yes. Marner extension incoming. Okay.
Yeah, and that's bring everybody back because
I see the vision.
I mean, we'll see what happens there though. And then I have the Oilers and Predators in the West.
Nashville
Predators. I am
Trashville.
Yeah, these not Trashville.
No, they're Trashville, dude. Like this team.
These guys, they made the playoffs last year with like no goal scoring, and you plug in Marchessault and Stamkos,
who are old.
I still think these guys can put up like 80 total goals in this season.
Marshall Stamkos will put up 80 total goals.
40 each.
No.
Okay, 70.
No.
I am. That's my.
Look, I think Stamkos is gonna have a good year, But to say they're going to be in the Cup final, nah, man. These guys.
Sorry, West final.
West final.
But still, yeah.
These guys are going to be old man washed up.
That is my sleeper pick. I know I probably sound a little crazy on that one, but we both had the Oilers.
Okay, yeah.
Oilers, by the way, plus 350 to win the Western Conference title.
Too chalky.
Yeah, very chalky. The Devils, man, people love the Devils. They are plus 500 to win the East. Like
too sexy.
Like, yeah, that's a little rich for my blood. But in the finals, I actually have a rematch of, I believe it was 06 Oilers versus Canes. That's my finals.
Okay.
And I was going to go Canes, but I will go Oilers as well, I think. Chalk, but
McDavid's going to win a cup, though.
Yeah,
right? Like,
they were so damn good.
He's such a great player. He's going to win a Stanley Cup eventually.
Oh,
right? Him and Draisaitl are too good. We saw it with Malkin and Crosby.
Yep.
We saw it with Taves and Kane, right? These guys are just generationally good.
They cannot be denied.
Taves was not generationally good, but like Malkin and Crosby especially, like they were the two of the three best players in the NHL at one point, and they won multiple Stanley Cups. The same thing's probably going to happen with the Edmonton Oilers, right?
Yeah, I think so. It has to happen eventually.
Yeah.
Do you have perhaps a dark horse as well? That moving on to the next segment,
to win the cup,
or just to maybe even just make the playoffs if they were better.
Well, the Canucks would clearly be a dark horse.
It's a surprise.
Canucks are what, plus 1750?
Yeah, I believe it was.
Yeah, that's dark horse. A team darker than that, I'd probably say. I see a team in the West winning.
Mm-hmm.
Utah, maybe. No,
I'm just kidding. I was kidding.
Trying to think of maybe LA.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe LA could finally get it right. You know, they got rid of the plague of Pierre-Luc Dubois gone, so maybe that generally helped.
Finally,
yeah, right. So
PLD get out of town, get bent.
Maybe the Kings. Maybe the Kings. Yeah.
Okay, I like that one.
Let's do that.
Sure. Yeah. So I already mentioned the Predators. For me, it's like a team like a Seattle or like a Utah that I think could surprise a lot.
Utah.
Yeah, because
the team that just got scored in their own goal for their first goal.
Yeah, I did see that. But look, man, I don't know. I feel like they could surprise a lot of people and be in the playoff conversation. I'm not saying they make it right away, but it's like a Vegas or Seattle that surprised early on in their tenure. Like, look at Seattle, man. They beat the Avs in 7 games coming off their cup.
I just don't know if their upfront talent is deep enough to score.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think one of these teams could surprise. Like even a Seattle.
Dan Bilesma.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
And Seattle just the first female assistant coach in NHL history. So that is awesome to see for the league as well. And yeah, I mentioned the Predators as well, so we got that one. And you have a breakout player in the NHL this season.
You give yours first.
Okay, I'm going Matvei Michkov at Philly. This guy, and we talked about it off camera, this guy tried the Michigan folks in training camp in front of John Tortorella. Like, that is confidence.
I think he's exactly what Philly would want. A guy who's going to come on the team and just explode.
Plug into that top line forward. Like,
hey, look, Philly's gonna be an exciting team.
They'll be interesting to watch in that Metro. It could be anyone. Like, it doesn't have to be a...
Can I give like a generic answer?
Yeah, that's
can I say Bedard just kind of goes from a really good young player to being a superstar? I think Bedard could go 50 this year.
Yeah,
if he stays healthy,
that would not surprise me.
I think Bedard could drop 50 this year.
His release is elegant. I remember he scored a goal last.
That's kind of a cop out though on my part.
No, I don't mind that one. Like, I think he'll exceed.
Even a guy like Cole Perfetti at Winnipeg just got played. Okay. He's a guy on a bridge deal that's been to prove. He's had a good couple of years. Cole Perfetti. Maybe Matthew Nice. Finally,
Matty Nice. Yeah,
I don't know about that. You know
He's
what?
A hard worker, bro.
You know what? I'm gonna show some love to Nick Suzuki.
Okay.
I think Nick Suzuki has a really good year this year, and with the Montreal Canadiens. He's a guy he's kind of like a Bo Horvat, right? Remember Bo Horvat? Just a steady, really all-around good captain.
Score goals too.
I could see Nick Suzuki having a Bo Horvat type of when he got traded to New York, where he was just scoring a whole bunch of goals.
Yeah.
I could see Nick Suzuki having a breakout. Could he touch 40 this year? Nick Suzuki, 40 goals, maybe.
To me, the Habs' top end talent is not elite, like, compared to other.
Okay, but look, they have a lot.
But that's fair.
A lot of different options now, right? Yeah. So I'm saying, hey, maybe Nick Suzuki could drop. I'm not saying he's going to lead the league in scoring, but I'm saying, could Nick Suzuki touch 40 goals this year?
Is Suzuki really a first line center, man?
They said that about Bo Horvat. He almost touched 40, right? Could Nick Suzuki touch 40? Maybe.
Not bad shutouts, though. I like the Bedard one, though, because I feel like he will have a much better year.
I think Bedard, because the jaw injury kind of messed him up in the first year.
Exactly.
If he's healthy and all that releases the lead, he's going to be another year older, another year stronger. And generally, with the second year, you start seeing guys start to pick it up a little bit more.
Yep.
Generational players like this. I could definitely see Connor Bedard being in the top of the race for the Rocket Richard.
Wow.
Not winning it, but he'll be in the race.
Clip it, folks.
Clip it. There you go.
No, I remember, dude. I remember last year Bedard scored a goal in OT against Connor Hellebuyck and the Jets. It literally hit the middle of the net, and Hellebuyck was like, "What the heck just happened?" Like his release is so good.
That toe drag release he has
just caught him under the arm.
Exactly.
Like, his shot is lethal.
Exactly.
It's up there with Matthews, in my opinion. Honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. And
curl and drag.
I got a question for you though.
Yeah, what?
I know this is your show, your thing.
No, please.
Ovechkin break the record this year?
Ooh. I think it takes him 2 years.
No, he breaks it this year.
You think so?
Yeah.
How many does he need? Like,
I think with 41 or 42 goals.
I think he gets really
it's in and
close.
around that 40 range. And look, he got for such a slow start last year.
Yeah.
And he turned it up in the second half. I think Ovechkin is just going to stand in that one spot, and they're going to feed him. He's going to take 10 shots a game. Because the Capitals have nothing else to play for, right?
Yeah.
The Capitals have nothing else to lose. I think this year their sole mission is going to be give Alex Ovechkin the goal-scoring record. And he's going to shoot the puck 10 to 15 times a game. I honestly will see that.
How do teams not realize, like, he stands in the same spot in every power play? Like, just cover him.
We just said it with Bedard, though, right? The shot
is so good you can't stop it.
Exactly. And he's proved that his whole career. He's been standing in that spot for how many years and still scores all the time,
15 years.
Exactly, right? So it's
good question, though.
Yeah, I think he breaks it this year.
Wow, that would be really cool. Actually, the Capitals did add a lot of they added Mangiapane, they added Pierre-Luc Dubois, who hopefully get along with his teammates for once.
Maybe.
Come on, Pierre.
But this is spot number 3 or 4 for him?
Oh,
Columbus, Winnipeg, LA, now Washington, 4th team.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, that's a lot of.
Maybe who knows? PLD could give Ovechkin the assist on the record-breaking goal.
That would be cool. Dylan Strome, I think, is actually pretty good. Like,
he's underrated.
He
definitely is. Yeah.
Is TJ Oshie injured? Did I see that?
Yeah, him and Nick Backstrom are still on. They're pretty much done. I think those guys. But that's what I'm saying. Ovechkin, he can't skate anymore. But you just stand him there.
Got Tom Wilson too.
Yeah, just stand there, shoot the puck, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah. 2 honorable mentions I will say real quick about breakout players. Logan Stankoven, I think he had a good playoffs. I think it carries
once again Dallas
this year. Yeah, and then Mason McTavish looks like he's going to start center. I think for the Ducks possibly him or Leo Carlson.
Him and Cutter Gauthier and that Radko Gudas is the captain there.
I don't get that one.
Yeah,
but some young, exciting talent in Anaheim.
Trevor Zegras is kind of overrated now, so maybe he can make a resurgence.
If he could just play like discipline and not just try to Michigan every game, I think he could be a good.
Yeah, I think so. He was the guy that came out big and bang, blew up on the scene, and he kind of fell off. So maybe.
We shall see. Okay, I want to get into this final segment, Justin. First game of the season, it goes down in Czechia, October 4th, Global Series. So it's the Devils versus the Sabres. The Devils are minus 156 on the money line, minus 1.5 on the spread. Over under set at 6.5. Do you have? Are you looking? What are you looking at this game?
Oh, both teams got new coaches. Lindy Ruff is back in Buffalo after how many years away, back to where he kind of grew to fame. And of course, as we talked about earlier, Sheldon Keefe is now new in New Jersey. I think the opening games is so hard to predict because there's the training camps that are just starting up preseason. The guys are still getting acclimated with one another in the systems. Rust is a big factor. I'm going to go with the Sabres to win this one. I think, look, the traveling over to Europe and all that stuff does play a factor. I could just see an upset happening. With these games in Europe, they're so hard to predict. So if it was up to me, I would say Buffalo gets the upset. You get a little bit plus money.
Still my pick, brother.
Well, great minds think alike.
Yes, that's right. That's right. It is technically a home game for the Sabres. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, and sometimes the Devils get off to slow starts to season, so I like them spread and the money line for the Sabres. You can get it plus 126 at NEO.bet, and I like the under as well. In my opinion, under 6.5. Yeah, and that is all our segments. Do you have any final thoughts just about the season or anything else you want to talk about? I like the Obi questions.
Crosby gets another 90-point season. That's going to happen.
Yes, I agree.
Ovechkin breaks the record. McDavid wins the Art Ross. McDavid wins the Rocket. He scored 70 this year.
Matthews getting if McDavid gets 70.
I think Matthews under the Berube system probably gets like 50.
A little more
55.
defensive. Yeah, I could see 60 from.
I don't see him touching 60 again, or even close to 70.
Really? I think he'd still touch 60.
He could. Even I just think like not in this system in the first year under Craig Berube. I do think McDavid drops 70 and Draisaitl. drops his normal 50 and 80 or whatever, his 130 points.
These guys are just playing shinny out here.
Yeah, pretty much. So McDavid wins. So Crosby 90 plus points. Ovechkin breaks the record. Bedard scores 50. McDavid scores 70. And here we go. Ding, 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 ding. Winner of all. Oilers win the Stanley Cup.
Oilers, yeah. I had the Oilers as well. Almost Carolina, though.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Yeah, it is going to be a really good season. I like the Bedard show, too. I think he's going to bounce back here. He's got Taylor Hall and Tyler Bertuzzi, I think, playing on his team. That's going to be interesting.
Nick Foligno was the captain there?
Yeah. A lot of new captains this year.
Yeah,
too.
it is.
Yeah. No, but yeah. Thanks for joining me, Justin.
No problem, brother.
Excited for the NHL season. We hope you enjoyed that NHL chat, and head over to NEO.bet for all the action, and enjoy the NHL season, everybody.